The massive crystal halls of the hegemony buzzed with angry voices. First Consul stood before the great viewing screen, his 6 eyes fixed on the terrible images flowing across its surface. Each picture made his skin change from its normal blue to angry purple. On the screen, humans were doing the forbidden thing. They were helping other species grow and learn. "Look at this," growled Admiral, pointing at the display. The humans found a world where the people still used stone tools. Instead of leaving them alone, they taught them how to make metal. They gave them medicine. They showed them how to grow better crops. His claws clicked against his stone podium. For 10,000 years, the hegemony had ruled the galaxy with one simple law: leave primitive species alone. Let them grow naturally. Do not interfere. It was the most important rule in all of space. "Show me more," said, his voice cold as winter. The screen changed to show another world. Here, humans were helping fish-like creatures who lived underwater. The humans had built special machines that cleaned the poisoned seas. They taught the fish people how to make the machines themselves. The fish people were laughing and playing in clean water for the first time in centuries. "This is worse than we thought," said Science Minister. "The humans have done this to 47 different worlds. They call it uplifting. They think they are helping." "Helping?" spat. "They are destroying the natural order of things. Every species must find its own path. That is how the universe works." Another image appeared. This time it showed a dying planet where the air was full of poison. The people there could barely breathe. The humans had arrived and built giant air cleaners. They taught the local people how to fix their world. Now children played outside again, breathing clean air. "The humans say they cannot watch suffering when they have the power to stop it," reported Intelligence Chief. "They believe helping others makes them stronger." "Fools," said. "They will make the galaxy weak. If every species gets help, none will be truly strong. None will learn to survive on their own." The hegemony had seen this before long ago. Other species had tried to help and uplift primitive worlds. It always ended badly. Wars broke out between the helped species and the natural ones. Technology was used wrong. Planets were destroyed. That is why the hegemony made the rule: no interference. "What do we know about human military strength?" asked. Admiral brought up new data. "They are very weak, First Consul. They only discovered faster-than-light travel 200 years ago. We have had it for 10,000 years. They have 89 ships total. We have over 400,000. Their weapons: basic energy beams and metal projectiles. Nothing compared to our plasma cannons and reality-bending bombs. Their largest ship is smaller than our smallest scout vessel." Felt some relief. At least stopping them would be easy. "But there is something strange," continued. "Every world they help becomes friends with them. The humans do not rule these worlds. They just help and then leave. But the helped species always offer to help the humans back." "Help them how?" "The stone tool people now make special metals for human ships. The fish people share their underwater cities as hiding places. The poison world people offer their planet as a fuel stop. It is like the humans are building a network of friends instead of an empire." This worried more than human weapons. The hegemony ruled through fear and strength. Other species obeyed because they had to, not because they wanted to. The human way sounded dangerous. "Show me their leader," ordered. The screen showed a human woman with brown hair and kind eyes. She was talking to a group of small, furry aliens. The aliens looked scared, but the woman spoke softly to them. She knelt down to their level. She showed them pictures of medicine that could cure their children's sickness. "This is Director Sarah," explained. "She leads something called the Terran Uplift Initiative. The humans chose her to decide which species to help." Watched as gave the medicine to the furry aliens for free. She showed them how to make more medicine themselves. The aliens began to cry happy tears. They hugged legs like she was their mother. "Disgusting," said. "She makes them weak and dependent." but even as he said it, felt confused. The aliens did not look weak. They looked grateful and strong. They stood taller after helped them. They smiled for the first time in the recording. "First Consul," said Admiral, "what are your orders? Do we attack the humans?" Thought carefully. The hegemony had kept peace in the galaxy for 10,000 years by stopping this exact problem. Species that interfered with others always caused chaos. It was better to end this quickly before it spread. But the humans seemed different somehow. They did not conquer the species they helped. They did not demand payment. They just helped and made friends, had never seen anything like it. "No," said finally. "We follow proper procedures. We will warn them first. Send ambassador to Earth with a full diplomatic fleet. Tell the humans they must stop this uplift nonsense immediately. Give them one chance to obey. And if they refuse..." His eyes turned from purple to deep red. "Then we will show them why the hegemony's way has kept peace for 10. We will stop them by force." The great hall fell silent. Every hegemony leader knew what this meant. They had crushed 23 species who refused to follow galactic law. The humans would be number 24. "Send the message," commanded. "Tell them we are coming." As the meeting ended, stayed behind, still watching images of humans helping other species. Something about it bothered him, but he could not say what. The humans looked so sure that they were right, but they had to be wrong. The hegemony's way was the only way that worked. Wasn't it? The 12 massive ships appeared above Earth like dark clouds blocking the sun. Each hegemony dreadnought was larger than Earth's biggest city. Their black hulls gleamed with energy shields that could stop entire fleets. Citizens below looked up at the sky with fear and wonder. Ambassador stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking down at the blue and green world below. He had delivered ultimatums to 43 species during his long career. Most surrendered immediately when they saw hegemony power. A few tried to fight and were crushed. None had ever ignored a final warning. The humans would learn to obey, just like all the others. "Ambassador," said his aide, "the human leaders are ready for your message." Nodded. His 4 arms adjusted his ceremonial robes. The golden fabric showed his rank in the hegemony hierarchy. The jewels on his chest represented the 20 worlds he had conquered. Today, he hoped to add Earth to that number without firing a shot. On Earth, Director Sarah stood in the great assembly hall surrounded by representatives from 50 human worlds. The room buzzed with nervous energy. Everyone knew this moment would change everything. Looked calm, but inside her heart raced. She had spent her whole life helping other species. Now someone wanted her to stop. She thought about the grateful faces of all the aliens they had saved. Could she really abandon them? The giant screen in front of the assembly flickered to life. Appeared, his image filling the wall. His 6 eyes stared down at the humans like a predator watching prey. "I am ambassador of the hegemony," his voice boomed through the hall. "I speak for First Consul and the ruling council of 847 star systems." The humans listened in silence. Some shifted nervously in their seats. "For 10,000 years," continued, "the hegemony has maintained peace across the galaxy. We have prevented wars. We have stopped chaos. We have protected the natural order of all things." Felt anger building in her chest. The hegemony called their system peace, but she had seen their idea of order. Strong species ruled weak ones. Suffering continued when it could be stopped. Help was forbidden when it was most needed. "The species known as humans has violated the most sacred law of galactic civilization," declared. "You have interfered with the natural development of primitive worlds. You have shared technology with species not ready to receive it. You have contaminated the pure evolution of dozens of civilizations." Murmurs rippled through the human assembly. Many had dedicated their lives to the Uplift program. They had seen dying children saved by human medicine. They had watched starving populations learn to feed themselves with human farming techniques. How could helping others be wrong? The hegemony offers you one opportunity to correct your crimes, said. His voice grew colder with each word. You will immediately cease all uplift activities. You will abandon every world you have contaminated. You will submit to hegemony oversight to ensure you never repeat these violations. He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. You have 7 of your days to comply, refuse, and face the consequences. The transmission ended. The assembly hall erupted in angry shouts and worried whispers, raised her hand for silence. They want us to abandon our friends, she said quietly. They want us to let children die when we could save them. They want us to watch suffering when we have the power to help. Representative Mark Torres from Mars Colony stood up. Director, maybe we should consider their offer. Those ships look powerful. If we fight them, we might lose everything. And if we obey them, replied, we lose everything that makes us human. She walked to the center of the room, looking at each representative. I have been to 47 worlds where we offered help. I have seen species grow stronger, not weaker, when they receive support. I have watched civilizations bloom when given a chance to learn and grow. She touched a button on her wrist device. Images appeared around the room, holographic displays of their uplift successes. They were dying in caves, afraid of the sky. We taught them about the stars. Now they explore space with joy and wonder. Are they weak because we helped them? The image changed to show underwater cities. They were poisoned by their own planet. We cleaned their oceans. Now they swim free and build beautiful homes beneath the waves. Are they contaminated because we cared? More images flowed past, happy alien children playing, grateful parents working, entire species reaching toward better futures. They were trapped on a dying world. We gave them ships to find a new home. Now they help other species do the same. Are they wrong to pay kindness forward? The room fell silent as the representatives absorbed what they saw. The hegemony calls this contamination, said. I call it compassion. They say we make species weak. I say we help them find their strength. Representative Lisa Park from Europa Station spoke up. But Director, if we refuse, they will attack us. Look at those ships. We cannot win a war against an empire that old and powerful. Nodded sadly. You are probably right. We might lose, we might die, but some things are worth dying for. She looked up at the ceiling, as if she could see through it to the hegemony ships above. I will not abandon species that trust us. I will not let children die because someone says helping them breaks cosmic law. I will not choose fear over love. The vote was close. 26 colonies supported, 24 urged caution, but had the final authority as director of the Uplift Initiative. She recorded her response to Ambassador that same day. Ambassador, she said, looking directly into the camera, thank you for your message. We have considered your words carefully. She paused, choosing her words with care. The human species has seen the hegemony's version of galactic order. We have observed your peace. In your galaxy, the strong rule the weak. Suffering continues when it could end. Growth stops when it could flourish. His voice grew stronger. We choose a different path. We believe intelligence creates responsibility. We believe power should serve compassion. We believe every species deserves a chance to reach its potential. She stood up, facing the camera directly. We will not abandon our friends. We will not stop helping those who need help. If you call that a crime, then we are guilty as charged. The message ended with final words echoing across human space. We have seen your galactic order. We choose a better way. When received the message, he stared at the screen for a long moment. No species had ever refused a hegemony ultimatum so politely yet firmly. Most either begged for mercy or threatened revenge. The humans simply said no and explained why. He opened a communication channel to First Consul. First Consul, he reported, the humans have refused to comply. They choose to fight rather than abandon their uplift program. Response was immediate. Then they choose to die, begin the war. The hegemony war fleet gathered at the edge of human space like a storm ready to break. 400 ships of every size filled the darkness between stars. 2 million soldiers waited in their barracks, checking weapons and reading battle plans. Admirals stood on the command bridge of the massive battleship Eternal Order, watching the final preparations. "All fleets report ready," said his communications officer. "Operation Cleansing Dawn can begin at your command." Nodded. This would be the easiest war in hegemony history. The humans had only 89 ships total. Most were small cargo vessels or science ships. Against 400 hegemony warships, the humans had no chance. "Send the first wave to New Geneva Colony," ordered. 50 ships should be enough to make them surrender. We will show them what happens when species refuse to obey. The fleet split into 5 groups, each heading toward a different human world, expected to receive surrender messages within hours. But when the first attack group reached New Geneva, they found something strange. The planet was empty. "Sir," reported captain from the lead ship, "there are no humans here. The cities are abandoned. All the ships are gone." "Impossible," said. "Scans showed 2 million humans living there just days ago." "The buildings are intact, sir. Nothing is damaged, but there are no people, no ships, no defenses. It is like they simply left." On the surface of New Geneva, the hegemony soldiers found only a single message broadcast on repeat from the planet's communication center. Director Sarah's face appeared on every screen, smiling calmly. "Greetings to the hegemony forces," her recorded voice said. "As you can see, we are no longer here. We have gone to help our friends. Try to keep up." The message played over and over, the same words echoing through empty streets. Felt his confidence crack. Where had 2 million humans gone so quickly? The answer came from the other attack groups. Every human world was the same, empty, intact, but with no people anywhere. 50 human colonies, all abandoned within days. "Sir," said his intelligence officer, "we are receiving reports from across the galaxy. Human populations are appearing on worlds we have never seen before. They seem to be hiding on planets belonging to the species they uplifted." Studied the star maps with growing alarm. The humans had not fled to their own worlds. They had scattered across hundreds of systems, mixing with dozens of different species. Finding them would be like looking for individual stars in nebula. "Bring me everything we know about human uplift activities," he ordered. The reports were worse than he had feared. The humans had helped 63 different species across 212 worlds. Each species had offered their planets as safe havens for human refugees. The Stone Age now hid human families in their cave cities. The underwater protected human children in their deep ocean settlements. The forest dwelling concealed human colonies in their tree cities. "How did they move so many people so fast?" wondered aloud. "Sir, it appears they have been planning this for months. Every uplifted species contributed ships, supplies, and hiding places. The humans call it the Friendship Network." On the forest world of, Sarah stood in a great tree house with Leader. The alien looked like a walking tree, with bark for skin and leaves for hair. Through the windows, they could see human children playing with young in the branches outside. "Thank you for protecting our families," said. His voice sounded like wind through leaves. "You saved our world when our sun was dying. You gave us new planets to grow on. Now we give you shelter when you need it. This is how friendship works." Nodded. This was exactly what the hegemony could not understand. When you helped others without asking for anything back, they wanted to help you when you needed it. "Director," called her aide, "we are receiving reports from all networks. The hegemony is searching for us, but they cannot find our main populations. And our ships. Hidden in asteroid belts, underwater bases, and underground caverns. The uplifted species are using their natural advantages to hide our fleets. The hegemony had expected to fight human ships in open space. Instead, they found themselves searching through caves, oceans, and forests on hundreds of worlds. Every time they thought they found a human base, it turned out to be empty. The humans had already moved to another hiding spot. Weeks passed with no major battles. The hegemony army, designed to crush organized resistance, struggled against an enemy that refused to stand still and fight. "This is not war," complained General Vex to Admiral. "This is a game of hide and seek across the entire galaxy." "Then we change the rules," replied. "If we cannot find the humans, we will force them to come to us." He ordered his fleets to begin attacking the uplifted worlds directly. If the hegemony could not find human armies, they would attack human friends. But when hegemony ships arrived at the first uplifted world, they found it defended by more than just local species. Human ships emerged from hiding alongside alien vessels. The Stone Age had learned to pilot fighters with incredible skill. The aquatic used their underwater bases to launch surprise attacks. The forest had built camouflaged weapons platforms in the trees. The first real battle happened above, home of the people. 50 hegemony ships faced what looked like only 20 human vessels. It should have been an easy victory. Instead, the hegemony found themselves fighting an enemy that knew the system perfectly. Pilots, who had learned navigation by reading cave echoes, could fly through asteroid fields like they were dancing. Human ships used hiding spots that had shown them, appearing and disappearing like ghosts. When the battle ended, the hegemony had lost 15 ships. The human alliance lost only 3. "How is this possible?" Admiral demanded. "They are primitives with borrowed technology." His science officer looked nervous. "Sir, it appears the humans did not just give technology to these species. They helped them adapt the technology to their natural abilities. The navigation skills make them amazing pilots. The underwater experience helps them with ship operations. Each species brings something unique." Back on watched battle reports with growing sadness. She had hoped to avoid war, but the hegemony gave them no choice. Director said, "More species are asking to join us. They have heard about our alliance. They want to help fight the hegemony." "How many?" 47 so far. Some are species you helped years ago. Others are species who hate hegemony rule. They see this as a chance for freedom. Felt something she had not expected hope. The hegemony was fighting not just humans, but a growing alliance of grateful species who had found strength in cooperation. "Send word to all allied species," she said. "We are not trying to conquer anyone. We are trying to build something better. Anyone who wants to help is welcome." As her message spread across the galaxy, Admiral realized his quick war had become something else entirely. The humans had done more than hide from his fleet. They had turned their act of compassion into a weapon of liberation. For the first time in 10,000 years, the hegemony faced an enemy that grew stronger with each battle instead of weaker. Admiral stared at the battle reports, his hands shaking with rage and confusion. What had started as a simple police action was turning into the hegemony's worst nightmare. Every week brought news of another defeat, another system lost, another impossible victory by the human alliance. "Explain this to me again," he demanded from his intelligence chief. "How did 50 of our ships lose to 30 primitive vessels?" Commander looked tired. She had been trying to understand human tactics for months without success. "Sir, it was the again. They have modified their ships to work underwater. When our fleet arrived at their world, half the enemy ships were hiding in the oceans. They attacked from below, using the planet's gravity to help their weapons." "Ships cannot fight underwater." "Human ships cannot, sir, but they have gills. They can live underwater naturally. The humans helped them build ships that work both in space and in water. No other species in the galaxy has ever tried this." Felt a headache building behind his eyes. This was the problem with fighting the humans. Every battle brought new surprises. The enemy kept changing, adapting, growing stronger in ways that made no sense. "Show me the battle again," he ordered. The screen displayed footage from the fight at Asteroid Belt Gamma 7. It should have been impossible for any ships to fight effectively in that maze of spinning rocks. The hegemony fleet had to move slowly and carefully to avoid crashes. But the ships danced through the asteroids like they were empty space. They spun and twisted in ways that would make any normal pilot sick. They used the asteroids themselves as weapons, pushing rocks into hegemony ships with perfect timing. "The evolved in cave systems," explained. "They navigate by sound and touch in complete darkness. The asteroid belt is easy for them compared to flying through underground tunnels." "But they were Stone Age primitives. How do they pilot starships?" "The humans did not just give them ships, sir. They redesigned the ships to work with abilities. The controls respond to echolocation. The navigation systems translate three-dimensional cave mapping skills into space flight. They are not trying to be human pilots. They are being pilots in space." This was what could not understand. In every previous war, conquered species either surrendered or fought with their own technology. The humans did something different. They looked at each species and asked, "What are you good at? How can we help you be better at it?" "Sir," interrupted his communications officer, "we have incoming transmission from the system. Another defeat." The report was similar to all the others. A hegemony strike force had tried to attack a forest world. They had built their cities in the trees, connected by bridges made of living branches. When the hegemony landed ground troops, they found themselves fighting in a three-dimensional maze where the enemy could walk on walls and ceilings. They moved through their forests like they were swimming through green water. They could hide anywhere, attack from any direction, and disappear before the hegemony soldiers could react. Human weapons combined with forest knowledge created perfect guerrilla fighters. "Every species brings something new," continued. "They have no eyes but can sense heat perfectly. They pilot fighter ships in the dark better than we can in full light. They can slow their hearts down to almost nothing, letting them survive in space longer than should be possible. The humans find these abilities and help them become weapons." But it was not just individual abilities that worried. It was how the different species worked together. On the screen, he watched footage of a recent battle where 5 different species had combined their strengths. Ships provided navigation through a dangerous nebula. Vessels carried troops underwater to a surprise attack point. Fighters used their tree-swinging reflexes to board enemy ships. Pilots flew cover using their heat sense to track targets through sensor jamming. Human ships coordinated everything, turning 5 different fighting styles into one devastating attack. They are creating new forms of warfare, realized. Every battle teaches them something new about working together. The worst part was how fast the alliance kept growing. Every hegemony defeat convinced more species to join the human side. Species that had been conquered by the hegemony centuries ago saw a chance for freedom. Species that had never met humans heard about the alliance and wanted to be part of it. "Sir," said his aide, "First Consul is requesting a status report." Dreaded these calls. How could he explain to his leader that a 200-year-old species was outfighting the galaxy's oldest empire? His image appeared on the screen, his 6 eyes glowing with impatience. "Admiral, I have been reading disturbing reports. Are we winning this war or not?" "First Consul, the situation is complex. The human alliance has proven more resilient than expected." "Resilient? Admiral, we have lost over 200 ships in 6 months. 200. We have not lost that many ships in the last 1,000 years combined." "Sir, the enemy is using tactics we have never seen before. They adapt faster than we can counter-adapt. Every victory teaches them lessons they use against us in the next battle." Skin turned from blue to angry purple. "They are primitives, Stone Age cave dwellers and fish people. How are they defeating our finest fleets? Tried to explain. Sir, they are not primitive anymore. The humans have helped them become something new. They keep their natural abilities but gain advanced technology designed specifically for them. Give me an example. Sir, in their natural state, they live in caves and navigate by echolocation. The humans built them ships with sonar-based controls and three-dimensional navigation systems. Now they are the best pilots in known space for asteroid fields and complex terrain. So we avoid asteroid fields. Yes, sir, but then we face the in-water worlds, or the in-forest systems, or the in-dark space. Every environment favors some member of their alliance. Was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was thoughtful instead of angry. Admiral, are you telling me that the humans have created an alliance where every species is fighting on terrain that favors them? Yes, sir. And when they fight together, they cover each other's weaknesses while combining their strengths. How many species are in their alliance now? Checked his latest reports. 137, sir, and growing every day. Stared at the screen for a full minute without speaking. Finally, he said, Admiral, bring the fleets back to defensive positions around our core worlds. This war is not going as planned. Sir, are we retreating? We are regrouping, said carefully. I need to think about what the humans have created. This is not just war anymore. This is evolution. After the call ended, sat alone on his bridge, looking out at the stars. For 10,000 years, the hegemony had won every war by being stronger than their enemies. The humans were weaker than any species the hegemony had ever fought. But somehow, they kept winning anyway. 3 years had passed since the war began. First Consul stood in his private chambers, looking out at the night sky above Prime, the hegemony's home world. Once, that sky had been empty except for stars and hegemony patrol ships. Now, thousands of enemy vessels filled the darkness around his planet. Sarah had kept her promise. She had brought the war to his doorstep. First Consul, came a voice behind him. Admiral entered the room, his uniform torn and dirty from the latest battle. The defense fleets have fallen back to the inner ring. We have maybe 6 hours before they reach the planet. Did not turn around. How many ships do they have now? 10,000, sir. Maybe more. Ships from 300 different species all working together. 10,000 ships. When the war started, the humans had 89. Now their alliance commanded more vessels than the entire hegemony fleet. How had things gone so wrong? They sent you a message, sir, continued. Director wants to speak with you. Almost laughed. The human leader wanted to talk while her massive fleet surrounded his home world. Did she plan to offer surrender terms? Did she think the hegemony would beg for mercy? Put her through, he said. The wall screen flickered to life, showing Sarah's face. She looked older than when the war started, with gray streaks in her brown hair and lines around her eyes. But she still had that calm, kind expression that had bothered from the beginning. First Consul, she said, thank you for speaking with me. You have come to demand my surrender, replied. No, said, surprising him. I have come to offer you a choice. Behind could see the bridge of her command ship, but it was not a human bridge. Officers worked alongside engineers. A navigator consulted with sensor operators. A dozen species, all working together as one crew. 3 years ago, you told me that the hegemony maintained galactic order, continued. You said interference with primitive species caused chaos and war. You were certain that your way was the only way that worked. Felt his anger rising. Your way has caused the largest war in galactic history. Yes, agreed sadly, because you chose to fight instead of listen, but look what that war has created. She gestured to her mixed crew, 300 species working together, who were afraid of open sky now pilot ships between stars, who lived in poisoned oceans now help clean other worlds, who hid in forests now explore the galaxy. Each species has grown stronger by helping others grow stronger too. You have destroyed the natural order. Have we? Asked. Let me show you something. The screen split to show images from across the Alliance territory. On one world, engineers worked with human scientists to design new types of ships. On another, doctors used their knowledge of underwater medicine to help land-based species survive in harsh environments. Everywhere, different species shared knowledge, technology, and resources. This is what happens when species help each other instead of ruling each other, said. Innovation increases. Problems get solved faster. Everyone benefits. Watch the images with growing unease. The Alliance worlds looked prosperous and happy. Technology advanced quickly when different perspectives worked together. Art and culture flourished when species shared their unique traditions. It looked nothing like the chaos the hegemony had always predicted. You are asking me to abandon 10,000 years of tradition, said. I am asking you to join something better, replied. The hegemony kept peace by making species afraid to change or grow. We offer peace through cooperation and mutual help. And if I refuse? His expression grew sad. Then we will do what we must to protect our friends. Your fleets are beaten, Consul. Your allies have joined us. You can fight to the end and destroy your own world, or you can help us build a better galaxy. Looked at Admiral, who nodded grimly. The military situation was hopeless. The hegemony fleet had been reduced to a few hundred ships defending one world against 10,000 attacking vessels. But it was not just numbers. The enemy had learned to fight in ways the hegemony could not counter. Their ships used tactics developed by dozens of different species. Their crews combined abilities no single species could match. They had turned diversity into their greatest weapon. What exactly are you offering? Asked. Join the Alliance, said. Help us spread cooperation instead of control. Share hegemony knowledge and technology with species that need it. Learn from other species in return. And our leadership, our authority. You keep governing your own worlds as you choose, but you stop forbidding other species from growing and helping each other. You stop using fear to maintain order. Thought about his empire. For 10,000 years, the hegemony had ruled through strength and intimidation. Other species obeyed because they were afraid, not because they wanted to. It kept peace, but it was a cold, lonely peace. The Alliance offered something different. Species chose to work together because cooperation made everyone stronger. It was messier and harder to control, but it seemed to make people happier and more creative. Sir, said Admiral quietly, the fleet commanders are asking for orders. Do we fight or surrender? Before could answer, alarms began ringing throughout the palace. His defense minister's voice echoed through the building. All citizens prepare for evacuation. Enemy forces have broken through the orbital defenses. But felt no fear. He had made his decision. Admiral, he said, send a message to all hegemony forces. Order them to stand down. Sir. Open all channels. I want to speak to the entire galaxy. Within minutes, his face appeared on screens across hundreds of worlds. His own people watched with surprise. Alliance species listened with curiosity. Sarah waited to hear what he would say. Citizens of the galaxy, began. For 10,000 years, the hegemony has maintained order through strength and control. We believed that preventing change would prevent chaos. We were wrong. He looked directly into the camera, speaking to and every member of her alliance. The human alliance has proven that cooperation creates more prosperity than control. Species grow stronger when they help each other, not when they are kept apart. Change brings innovation, not destruction. He took a deep breath, knowing his next words would change everything. The hegemony formally requests membership in the human alliance. We offer our knowledge, our technology, and our resources to help build a galaxy where every species can reach its full potential. Across the galaxy, people cheered. Former enemies celebrated together. The largest war in galactic history ended not with conquest, but with the defeated joining the victors. Sarah smiled, her eyes bright with tears. "Welcome to the Alliance, First Consul. Let's build something beautiful together." As watched alien ships land peacefully on his world, he realized the humans had taught him something important. True strength did not come from making others fear you. It came from making others trust you enough to work with you toward common goals. The age of the hegemony was over. The age of cooperation had begun.